Welcome to my channel, Most Worth Coins WC, where history lives in your hands. If you're passionate about rare coins, vintage currency, and the fascinating stories behind them, you're in the right place. Don't forget to watch the full video, share it with your fellow collectors, like and subscribe to stay updated with more valuable content every week. So, without further ado, let's get started. The 1978 United States Lincoln Memorial 1-cent coin, often colloquially referred to as a penny, remains one of the iconic minor coin denominations in American numismatics, distinguished by both its historical significance and its modest yet enduring design elements. Struck by the United States Mint in three primary facilities: Philadelphia, no mint mark; Denver, D mint mark; and San Francisco as proof coins with an S mint mark. This particular cent marks one of the final years in which the coin was composed entirely of 95% copper and 5% zinc, a metal composition that would soon change amid economic and material cost challenges in the early 1980s. The obverse of the coin features the famous right-facing profile of President Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, a design originally crafted by sculptor Victor David Brenner in 1909 to commemorate Lincoln's 100th birth anniversary. Brenner's portrayal of Lincoln, inspired by photographs and life portraits of the president, remains a remarkable artistic rendering, celebrated for its simplicity and dignity. Above Lincoln's head arches the national motto, "In God We Trust," an enduring expression of American civic spirituality that first appeared on U.S. coinage in the 19th century and was mandated on all coins starting in 1955. To the left of the president's profile appears the word liberty, a fundamental value upon which the United States was founded, and which has appeared on American coins since the country's inception. To the right, parallel with Lincoln's neck and shoulder line, is the date of issue, 1978, which, in the case of the Denver mint variety, would be accompanied by a small D mint mark just below the year. Turning to the reverse of the coin, we find the stately depiction of the Lincoln Memorial, a neoclassical monument located in Washington, D.C., that honors the memory and legacy of President Lincoln. Designed by architect Henry Bacon and completed in 1922, the image was adapted for the cent's reverse starting in 1959. Commemorating the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth and replacing the earlier wheat ears reverse design. In fine detail, the memorial appears as it does in reality, with its prominent columns and central statue faintly visible between the middle columns if examined. Under magnification, a subtle but admired feature among numismatists encircling the top of the reverse design is the Latin motto, E pluribus, una, meaning out of many. 1. Reflecting the unification of the original 13 colonies into a single nation and representing the country's enduring identity as a union of diverse states and peoples. Flanking the image of the memorial at the top perimeter of the reverse is the legend United States of America, while the denomination 1 cent is inscribed boldly along the bottom rim, leaving no ambiguity about the coin's monetary value. In US currency. The 1978 Lincoln cent occupies a transitional chapter in American coinage history. It was minted at a time when inflation and the rising cost of copper would soon necessitate a reduction in the coin's copper content. From 1982 onward, the cent would shift to a predominantly zinc composition with a thin copper plating. In terms of mintage, the 1978 issue saw significant production figures, over 5.56 billion. Coins were struck at the Philadelphia Mint, with approximately 4.28 billion from Denver, making it a plentiful date in circulated conditions, but still holding interest among collectors for high-grade mint state and proof specimens, particularly those exhibiting full strikes and clean surfaces. The proof coins, produced at the San Francisco Mint, were created with polished dies and planchettes, yielding mirror-like fields and frosted devices for numismatic enthusiasts and annual proof sets. From a numismatic perspective, while the 1978 Lincoln cent is generally common in worn circulation grades, it can be notably valuable in uncirculated conditions, especially those graded MS-67 or higher by third-party grading services. Such coins are appreciated for their sharp strike, original luster, and absence of contact marks or discoloration. Additionally, error varieties from this year such as off-center strikes, double dies, and clipped planchettes add another layer of intrigue for collectors. The continuation of Victor David Brenner's obverse design, combined with Frank Gasparo's reverse depiction of the Lincoln Memorial, reflects the enduring legacy of Lincoln's image on American coinage and the way his memory has been visually represented over generations. Gasparo's rendering not only preserved the architectural symbolism of the nation's capital, but subtly included a minuscule rendering of Daniel Chester French's seated statue of Lincoln within the memorial's open columns, a fine detail, visible under magnification and a point of pride for numismatists who appreciate such artistic subtleties. In cultural context, the 1978 Lincoln Memorial cent circulated widely during a pivotal era of American history marked by economic turbulence, international diplomacy shifts, and domestic cultural changes. It exchanged hands in an America grappling with the aftermath of the Vietnam War, the lingering effects of the Watergate scandal, and the economic uncertainties of the 1970s, making it a silent witness to the daily lives and historical milestones of its time, though small in size and modest in face value. Each 1978 Lincoln cent carries with it the enduring motifs of liberty, unity, trust in divine providence, and national identity qualities etched in both its metal and the collective memory of the people who used it. The 1988 United States 1-cent coin, known formally as the Lincoln Memorial Cent, holds a significant and enduring place in American numismatic history as one of the most circulated and recognized small-denomination coins in the world. This coin represents not only a functional medium of exchange but also a miniature canvas of national ideals, symbolism, and historical reverence. The obverse of the 1988 cent continues to feature the dignified right-facing portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States and a towering figure in American history, whose leadership during the Civil War and commitment to the abolition of slavery left an indelible mark on the nation. This portrait, originally designed by sculptor Victor David Brenner in 1909 to commemorate the centennial of Lincoln's birth, has remained largely unchanged in its central design, a testament to its enduring symbolism and public admiration. Crowning Lincoln's image at the top rim of the coin is the solemn national motto, "In God We Trust," which first appeared on U.S. coinage in the 19th century and was formally mandated for all U.S. coins by the mid-20th century, reflecting the country's long-standing tradition of intertwining faith and civic life. To the left of Lincoln's profile stands the word liberty, a foundational principle upon which the nation was conceived, representing the American ideal of freedom and independence. To the right of Lincoln's image appears the date 1988, marking the year of minting. Depending on where the coin was struck, a mint mark letter might appear just below the date, a small D for the Denver Mint, an S for proof coins from the San Francisco Mint, or no mint mark at all for those produced by the Philadelphia Mint. The reverse side of the coin, introduced in 1959 to mark the 150th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, displays a meticulously rendered depiction of the Lincoln Memorial, an iconic neoclassical monument located on the western end of the National Mall in Washington, D.C. The design, created by Frank Gasparo, then chief engraver of the United States Mint, replaced the earlier wheat ears reverse design and became a staple of American coinage for decades to follow. The Lincoln Memorial's carefully engraved structure features 36 columns, representing the number of states in the Union at the time of Lincoln's death in 1865, and showcases the elegant classical revival architectural style chosen to honor Lincoln's legacy. Impressively, if examined under magnification, one can observe a tiny image of Daniel Chester French's statue of Lincoln seated within the memorial, positioned between the central columns, a subtle yet remarkable feature that adds artistic and numismatic value to the design. Encircling the top rim of the reverse side is the inscription, "United States of America," declaring the coin's national origin. Immediately below it, in slightly smaller font, is the traditional motto, "E pluribus unum," a Latin phrase meaning, "out of many, one," a sentiment reflecting the unity forged from America's diverse people and states. Anchoring the bottom of the reverse is the denomination 1 cent, leaving no ambiguity about the coin's monetary value in the federal system. Numismatically, the 1988 Lincoln cent occupies a transitional period in the history of U.S. coinage. Although visually identical to earlier cents of the Lincoln Memorial series, the composition of the coin had been permanently altered by this time. Due to the rising costs of copper during the early 1980s, the United States Mint changed the cent's composition in mid-1982 from a 95% copper and 5% zinc alloy to a predominantly 97.5% zinc core clad with a 2.5% thin copper plating. This modification reduced the weight of the coin from 3.11 grams to 2.5 grams and subtly affected its color and long-term durability in circulation. The 1988 cent was thus part of this newer generation of zinc-based coins, distinguishable from their earlier all-copper counterparts by both weight and the occasional appearance of corrosion spots or plating bubbles, which zinc cents are prone to develop over time due to their layered construction. While the design and appearance remained unchanged, these hidden differences in composition mark a distinct chapter in the cent's storied legacy. The mintage figures for the 1988 Lincoln cent reflect the continued massive demand for this small but indispensable coin within the American economy. The Philadelphia Mint, which does not use a mint mark, struck an astonishing 6,092,810,000 cents in 1988, while the Denver Mint produced 5,253,740,000 pieces, identified by a small d mint. Additionally, the San Francisco Mint struck 3,262,948 proof coins, featuring highly polished fields and frosted devices for numismatic collectors. packaged in official proof sets. These proof coins, bearing the S Mint mark, are known for their brilliant mirror-like finish and sharp, detailed imagery, offering a contrast to their circulation strike counterparts. Though common in circulated conditions, high-grade uncirculated and pristine proof specimens command interest in the numismatic community, especially those certified MS67 or higher by professional grading services such as NGC or PCGS, due to the increasing difficulty of finding examples free of contact marks, blemishes, or imperfections. One of the more intriguing aspects of the 1988 Lincoln cent lies in the subtle variety discoveries and anomalies associated with this date. One particularly notable example is the 1988 doubled die reverse DDR, where certain cents display a noticeable doubling in the lettering of E pluribus unum, United States of America, or in the depiction of the Lincoln Memorial's columns. Such varieties, though relatively scarce, are eagerly sought by specialists in error and variety coin collecting. Additionally, some 1988 cents are known to exhibit transitional anomalies, involving reverse designs intended for subsequent years, specifically involving the shape and style of the FG designer's initials on the reverse. These transitional reverse types, while uncommon, add a layer of depth to the year's numismatic landscape and offer collectors the thrill of identifying and preserving rare deviations from standard production. Culturally and historically, the 1988 Lincoln cent circulated during a pivotal era in American life. The United States, under the leadership of President Ronald Reagan, was experiencing a period of economic resurgence, technological innovation, and shifting global alliances. As the Cold War drew closer to its conclusion, this small, copper-plated zinc coin passed through the hands of citizens navigating a world of rapidly advancing computers, home video technology, and growing globalization. It was exchanged in diners, gas stations, corner stores, and savings jars, quietly participating in countless daily transactions and witnessing moments both ordinary and historic in American society. While its face value remained 1 cent, its symbolic worth, carrying the image of a president who preserved the Union and the ideals of liberty and equality, extended far beyond its monetary measure. Even now, decades after its minting, the 1988 Lincoln Memorial cent remains a staple in circulation, though its purchasing power has waned. For numismatists and casual collectors alike, it serves as a tangible connection to American heritage, artistic tradition, and the ever-evolving story of U.S. currency. Its blend of classical imagery, modern minting technology, and cultural significance makes it a fascinating artifact worthy of study and appreciation, embodying the nation's values in a coin small enough to carry in one's pocket, yet rich enough in history to be treasured in collections across generations. The 1991 United States 1 cent coin, officially known as the Lincoln Memorial cent, is a significant and enduring example of modern American coinage, a modest yet iconic emblem of the country's values, historical reverence, and daily commerce. Minted during a time of profound social, economic, and global change, this small copper-plated zinc coin was struck by the Denver Mint, as indicated by the small D mint mark located just beneath the date on the obverse. The Lincoln cent series itself holds a remarkable place in U.S. numismatic history, having debuted in 1909 to commemorate the centennial of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the obverse features a dignified right-facing bust of Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States and one of the most celebrated leaders in American history. Remembered for his steadfast leadership during the Civil War, his efforts to abolish slavery, and his eloquent advocacy for democracy and human rights. Above Lincoln's image arcs the revered national motto, "In God We Trust," reflecting the nation's long-standing spiritual heritage and collective trust in divine providence. To Lincoln's left is inscribed the word liberty, a founding principle of the Republic, symbolizing the freedoms fought for during the American Revolution and protected throughout the country's history. To the right of Lincoln's portrait appears the date of issue, 1991, accompanied by the D mint mark, indicating that the coin was produced at the Denver Mint in Colorado, one of the primary facilities of the United States Mint, renowned for producing billions of coins annually for both circulation and collectors. Turning to the reverse, the 1991D Lincoln cent continues the design first introduced in 1959, created by Chief Engraver Frank Gasparo to commemorate the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth and replace the earlier wheat ears reverse used from 1909 to 1958. This design features a carefully detailed engraving of the Lincoln Memorial, one of the most iconic architectural landmarks in the United States, situated on the National Mall in Washington, D.C. The memorial's classical design, inspired by ancient Greek temples, consists of 36 Doric columns, each representing a state. In the Union, at the time of Lincoln's death in 1865, if closely examined under magnification, one can even detect a tiny rendering of Daniel Chester French's statue of Abraham Lincoln seated inside the memorial's central chamber, a testament to the artistry and precision of us mint engravers. Arched above the image of the memorial is the inscription United States of America, proudly proclaiming the nation of origin. Just below that, in smaller capital letters, appears the Latin motto, E pluribus, unum, meaning out of many, one, a powerful affirmation of the unity forged from the diversity of America's states and peoples. At the bottom of the reverse is the denomination 1, cent, clearly declaring the coin's monetary value and its status as legal tender. Numismatically, the 1991D, Lincoln cent, represents a continuation of the modern era of U.S. small coinage, characterized by mass production and a shift in metal composition from traditional copper to a more economical copper-plated zinc alloy. Since mid-1982, due to escalating copper prices, the U.S. Mint transitioned from a 95% copper and 5% zinc composition to a 97.5% zinc core, clad with 2.5% copper plating. This adjustment reduced the coin's weight from 3.11 grams to 2.5 grams and affected the striking characteristics, making these newer coins somewhat more prone to surface bubbles, spots, and corrosion due to the chemical reactivity of zinc, especially when exposed to moisture and air. Despite these challenges, the coins maintained their uniform size of 19.05 millimeters in diameter and a plain, smooth edge. The minting process at the Denver Mint in 1991 was part of a relentless production effort to meet national demand, resulting in an astonishing 4,158,442,076 Lincoln cents struck at the Denver facility alone that year. This massive output reflects both the coin's crucial role in everyday transactions and the mint's ability to produce billions of coins efficiently and accurately. Collectors and numismatists often take interest in minor varieties and anomalies associated with common-date Lincoln cents, and while the 1991D Lincoln cent is largely considered a regular issue coin with no widely reported major double dies or transitional errors, diligent variety hunters sometimes seek examples of minor die cracks, die chips, off-center strikes, broad strikes, and other minting anomalies. Of particular note is the occasional appearance of plating issues, a phenomenon peculiar to copper-plated zinc cents. These issues can manifest as tiny blisters, surface bubbles, or areas where the thin copper layer may have separated from the zinc core, leading to aesthetically interesting or structurally fragile pieces that, while typically low in market value, hold intrigue for era specialists and collectors of minting oddities, culturally and historically. The 1991D Lincoln cent circulated at a dynamic moment in American history. In 1991, the United States was adjusting to the rapidly changing global political landscape following the end of the Cold War and the dissolution of the Soviet Union. It was also the year of the Gulf War, Operation Desert Storm, when U.S. military forces, alongside a coalition of allies, liberated Kuwait from Iraqi occupation. Domestically, the country was navigating economic challenges, advances in personal computing, and growing conversations around globalization and technology. This humble 1-cent coin passed through the hands of American citizens in diners, corner stores, vending machines, gas stations, and school cafeterias, playing its part in the ordinary yet indispensable fabric of everyday life. Its image of Lincoln reminded Americans of the enduring ideals of unity, liberty, and moral courage, even as the nation confronted modern complexities. Today, while billions of 1991D Lincoln cents remain in circulation and are commonly found in pocket change, coin jars, and bankrolls, they continue to hold numismatic significance as part of the broader Lincoln Memorial Cent series, which concluded in 2008 with the transition to the Lincoln Bicentennial designs in 2009 and the Union Shield reverse in 2010. High-grade uncirculated examples, particularly those graded MS67 Road, Red or better by professional grading services, like PCGS or NGC, can command premiums in the collector market due to the difficulty of preserving copper-plated zinc coins in pristine condition. The 1991D Lincoln cent, therefore, remains both a workhorse of the American economy and a collectible artifact of late 20th century America, a small but enduring piece of history reflecting the nation's values, challenges, and achievements at the dawn of a new era. The 1993 United States 1-cent coin, formerly known as the Lincoln Memorial Cent, is a modest, yet historically rich numismatic artifact, a tiny but powerful vessel for American symbolism, political legacy, and daily economic function. Issued during a year of notable political transition and cultural shifts in the United States, the 1993 Lincoln cent was struck at two major United States mint facilities, Philadelphia bearing no mint mark, and Denver with a small D mint mark beneath. The date on the obverse, continuing a proud tradition dating back to 1909. The obverse of the 1993 cent features the iconic right-facing portrait of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, whose leadership during the American Civil War and moral resolve in abolishing slavery forever changed the nation's destiny. This portrait, originally sculpted by Victor David Brenner for the centennial of Lincoln's birth, remains one of the longest-running coin designs in U.S. history, a testament to both its aesthetic strength and the enduring reverence Americans hold for Lincoln's contributions to liberty and unity. Above Lincoln's noble visage is inscribed the national motto, "In God We Trust," a phrase first adopted on U.S. coinage during the Civil War and permanently enshrined on all U.S. coins by the mid-20th century. To the left of Lincoln's profile lies the cherished word, liberty, a foundational ideal upon which the United States was founded in 1776, and which President Lincoln himself tirelessly defended. The date 1993 appears to the right of Lincoln's bust, marking the year of minting and anchoring this cent firmly within the historical record. The reverse side of the 1993 Lincoln cent carries the detailed engraving of the Lincoln Memorial, a neoclassical temple of national significance located on the western end of Washington, D.C.'s National Mall, designed by Frank Gasparo, then chief engraver of the United States Mint. This reverse replaced the original wheat ears reverse. In 1959, as part of the 150th anniversary celebrations of Lincoln's birth, the memorial's careful depiction on the coin's small canvas features 36 Doric columns, representing the number of states in the Union at the time of Lincoln's death in 1865. And under magnification, one can discern a tiny engraving of the statue of Lincoln, seated within the memorial's central chamber, a remarkable feat of miniature art and die engraving. Circling the upper rim of the reverse is the inscription, "United States of America," while directly below it, in a smaller font, rests the Latin phrase, "E pluribus unum," meaning out of many, one, a nod to the unity forged from America's diverse states and peoples. At the bottom of the reverse lies the denomination 1 cent, plainly stating the coin's monetary value in a manner unchanged since the inception of the denomination. In 1793, by 1993, the composition of the Lincoln cent had long since changed from its original 95% copper alloy to a more cost-effective 97.5% zinc core with a 2.5% copper plating, a transition made in mid-1982 to combat rising copper prices. This change reduced the coin's weight from 3.11 grams to 2.5 grams, and introduced a layered structure prone to unique issues such as plating bubbles, surface blisters, and zinc corrosion, making pristine examples increasingly difficult to find. In later years, the physical specifications otherwise remain consistent. With a diameter of 19.05 millimeters, a plain edge, and a brilliant coppery red color when freshly minted. In terms of mintage, the Philadelphia Mint produced 5,684,705,001 cent coins in 1993, while the Denver Mint struck an even greater 6,426,650,571 cents, making the combined output of the year's Lincoln cents exceed a staggering 12 billion pieces. A testament to both the coin's indispensability in daily transactions and the immense industrial capability of the United States Mint. Additionally, the San Francisco Mint struck 2,633,911 proof cents for collectors, featuring polished planchettes, mirrored fields, and sharp, frosted devices, all housed in official U.S. Mint proof sets. Though the 1993 Lincoln cent was produced in massive quantities and remains exceedingly common in circulation today, it holds interest for collectors, particularly in high-grade uncirculated and proof condition. While no major double die varieties or key date anomalies are officially listed for 1993, dedicated collectors of Lincoln cents often seek out minor die cracks, die chips sometimes forming popular shapes such as so-called cuds or blobs, misaligned strikes, and off-center strikes. Another area of collecting interest stems from the zinc core notorious tendency to react with environmental factors, leading to unusual toning, pitting, or corrosion, giving rise to distinctive, if technically damaged, pieces that tell their own tales of circulation and survival, culturally and historically. The 1993 Lincoln cent circulated in an America undergoing notable shifts. The early 1990s saw the inauguration of President Bill Clinton, signaling a new political direction following 12 years of Republican leadership under Ronald Reagan and George H.W. Bush. The economy was recovering from a mild recession, while rapid advancements in personal computing and the early public access to the internet began to reshape American life. Socially, the nation was engaged in dialogues on healthcare, crime, and civil rights, while abroad, the aftermath of the Cold War and new international peacekeeping efforts defined the United States' role on the global stage. Through all these monumental events, the 1993 Lincoln cent quietly passed through countless hands, paying for coffee, newspapers, bus fares, and charity jar donations, playing its humble part in the everyday transactions of American life. Today, although billions of 1993 Lincoln cents remain in circulation, their individual purchasing power has waned, yet their symbolic value endures. For these coins offer a link to late 20th century America, a nation on the cusp of the digital age, yet still rooted in its foundational ideals, expressed in miniature through a coin bearing the image of its most revered president. High-grade examples, particularly those graded MS67RD or higher by professional services such as NGC and PCRs, attract premiums from collectors due to the inherent difficulty in preserving modern zinc-based cents in flawless condition, as the Lincoln Memorial Cent series would eventually conclude in 2008, to be replaced by a series of commemorative reverses in 2009 and a new permanent Union Shield reverse in 2010. The 1993 issue remains a representative of a familiar, long-lived design, a bridge between tradition and change, its quiet endurance reflecting the stability and resilience of both the cent itself and the nation it serves. Would you like a similarly comprehensive essay-length write-up for another year or mint mark, perhaps 1994, 1985, or a proof issue? Just let me know. I'd be happy to write it for you.